everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Afrolit. I am your host, Ekua PM. Wow, what a lovely... What have we gone through in this season already? So many different emotions, so many different conversations. You know, if you haven't listened, go back and listen to my conversation with Patricia, as well as my, episode kicking us off. Wow. Solo. I did a solo thing. Wow, guys, we're rolling in the deep, as Adele said. But you see, I have a lovely guest, but she's really family at this point. Because what you may not know is that your girl is growing, your girl is expanding Afrolit, and I needed to get organized. And so I brought my lovely sister along with me on this journey. And you see her to my left, Amanda.
Hello.
Nyakela.
Hello.
For the people, for the culture, doing it. Oh my gosh. Like from behind the scenes to the front of the scenes. Yep. And we're going to get into it. I'm grateful to have you.
I'm happy to be here. Thank you
for
having me.
Was it by choice?
We know the story how I got here.
It's not bad though.
No,
it's not bad.
It's not.
I'm not mad at it because I do think that there is something to be said for things, even when things don't even go your way, or even when you think that, it has to be a certain way, that it really doesn't have to. You can still have fruitful conversations with your family, Yeah. And I also think that it's fun to have someone who works with the team, for Afrolit, with Afrolit, now being on Afrolit. Like, what?
How did I get here?
Three-peat. It's a right? It's a three-pointer. There we go. Look at me. Look, swoosh. Anyways, okay.
Do you know sports?
But yes, I don't. I did play basketball though. But yes, no. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and energy as always. I'm just excited because, yes, you are working with me, but you also do so many other things, which I think the people need to, you were on a podcast, you've been guests on so it's you're not new to this either.
No.
It's you,
surprisingly,
she within. I'm in the mix. She's also within the mix. She's in the mix, but I would love the people to know because, I know, but they don't know. So tell the people where you're from, where you were raised, and what brought you to New York, and what type of creativity you are bringing to the scene.
Gosh. I was born in DC, so
shout out DMV.
DMV, we out here. I was born there. I grew up there for a little bit until I was 7, and then my parents, they're both from Tanzania, and they, funny enough, actually met in the DMV, even though they're from Tanzania. So they flew 7,000 miles just to meet each other.
Wow.
And then they had me and my brother.
That's a whole story in itself.
It is. It really is.
And I've heard that story, and I'm still wow, that's going to be a movie that we're going to write.
Well,
but anyways,
definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Because it's a movie.
But yeah, so I grew up until I was 7 years old, and then my parents was you know what? We miss home. And so they took me and my brother and you guys are going to learn the culture.
I know, immigrants. Wow. Why do we think this?
Right?
We just miss everybody pack
we miss
up.
home. We're going to pack up. And they're actually doing very well. So everybody was surprised that they moved back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're you're doing so well. You have this, you're making
right?
something money. And
yeah.
you decided to
dollars.
go back home.
You're making dollars.
And then you're going back to T-shillings.
T-shillings. It's bruh.
The jump is really crazy. But
I know.
Yeah, we went back to Tanzania. I was 7 years old. I didn't know much about Africa. Tanzania. I was having nightmares when I was younger. I was
you went to the village.
I was we're gonna be poor. We're not gonna be able to
We're gonna be poor.
It's gonna be terrible.
God.
That's what I was told as a young child.
Right? And you saw the famine on TV. Yo, they really did Africa dirty.
They did.
They really showed us just the baby starving and the bird was about to eat us, and it's
the fly that doesn't
the fly. Yo,
my gosh.
No,
but yeah,
bruh.
So
no.
We moved as a family to Tanzania. We stayed in Dar for a little bit, Dar es Salaam, which is like the business capital, and they were like, "This is too hot for us. Let's go.
Too hot?
Let's go. Really, let's go to
Oh, I didn't know
Arusha."
that.
So we went to my mom's hometown, and that's where I basically grew up for the most part.
Okay.
I graduated high school from there, and then once I graduated high school, I was like, I need to go to college now. So I applied to a couple schools. It's actually funny. I only applied to like one other school besides the one that I went to.
That is not good.
It's not good, but
don't
that's how
do that, kids.
Don't do that until,
definitely
like,
apply to like 4
multiple,
colleges. Like, don't.
That's how I know like God has been, the one deciding my
amen.
decisions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I got into American University. Fun fact, my
Right.
mom also went there.
Oh,
You didn't know?
I did not know that. Oh, we about to
Look
learn
at
something
you.
today. Okay.
Yeah, so I went to AU. It was
Uh-huh.
in DC as well. So I went back to what I was kind of familiar with, but I
Okay.
didn't know about it like as an adult, like quote unquote
Yeah.
17-year-old. And so yeah, I did a BA in public relations because I wanted space to do what I want to do. I knew I liked to be creative. I thought I was gonna be a fashion designer.
Okay.
But then I was like, that's just a little bit of what I want to do. It's not like the whole picture. And then of course, like I love music. That's like my first love. I knew I wanted to be in that space. I can sing. I sing a little bit. I did, live performances, but like I didn't think that was my calling. So I was
Okay.
like, that's not really what I want to do, but I want to be part of the business side of it.
Okay.
So
which is very important.
very important. And I knew that
And-
because also coming from Tanzania, I had like a different perspective because I was like,
Yeah.
there's all these artists. When I was younger, like that was the start of like bongo flava and all that type of
Oh,
stuff. So I was really like I saw that like
yeah.
whole
Yeah,
growth
like
in that
Ali
industry.
Kiba,
Yeah, exactly. Ali
Mr.
Kiba,
Nice.
Mwana Fame, Professor J,
Oh, yeah,
all that
Professor
stuff.
J,
Yeah,
yeah.
all those people. So I was like really like inspired by those artists, and then so
Yeah.
when I came to DC, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the one to build the bridge. I'm gonna be the
You're gonna be the diaspora.
I'm gonna be the diaspora.
The right diaspora.
I'm gonna make my
Okay.
connections here so that it's easier for people back home to like, grow their network and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
that was the goal I had coming into college. College though, that was
Now you're seeing Zungus in real
for
life.
real, and not just I was growing up with Europeans, and like most of my friends are Dutch,
Right.
and so like they're
like
kind
Germans,
of different, but
but
Americans, they're a whole nother breed. So I had my first experience of like being a PWI, and like my roommate was
that
white.
is private white institution for those who don't know.
A little bit. So yeah, I had my roommate was a white girl from Maine,
Wow.
and
Wow.
yeah, that was a whole.
Wow.
Call me if you want that story, because that's a deep, deep story.
You can DM
But
her.
you can DM me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really learned a lot. It was a space for me to like grow and like just experiment and like do so many things that I always wanted to do, but I never had the resources to do. So like I would do a bunch of art classes when I didn't have my PR classes, and I was doing business classes. I was just learning from professors and just exploring and like figure out what I wanted to do, what I didn't like, what I did like. I joined a record label in university. And
I didn't know that. What record label?
It was what's called Second District Records. I was like the PR person on that team, so it was pretty cool.
Who's your artist?
I mean, like I don't even remember.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But like Manny Wells, he was discovered by
shout
one
out
of my
to him.
my-
If you know,
if
he's
you
been a
know.
guest on Afrolit. Fun.
Yeah, so like I remember like seeing him at school, and he
Yeah.
like talked to him a little bit. So it was like my like first introduction to like the music scene in DC. I used to work at U Street Music Hall, RIP. No anymore.
Wow. Yeah.
They were in partnership with 930 Club, so like I
Oh,
would
I didn't know
always
that.
like
Okay.
work around there.
Okay.
And yeah, it was cool. But then once I graduated, it was class of 2020. So
Ooh, girl. Then it's a pandemic. We're in a pandemic.
we legit left for spring break and never came back. That was my experience.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was even more sad because I was supposed to be speaker for my class.
Oh no! I didn't
So,
know
yeah.
that.
Yeah, so that was that was my experience. So like I was staying at home. I had to live with my aunt, my dad's.
Lord, the gossiping auntie.
the hey, they might watch this. So let me just
I
say
know,
everything I need
right?
to say.
I can say it because I'm not. And I'm kidding.
But yeah, so I stayed at
auntie.
home after I graduated for about a year. I didn't have a job. I didn't know what I was gonna do. If I didn't have God, I would be panicking. I mean, I did panic at one point. I thought, oh, I have to go to grad school. I have to get an MBA because I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get a job. I'm gonna, you just don't know your next step. And I feel like if I didn't have that mood of isolation, I would have like gone into things that were not for me and like and not doing things that I like needed to do. Like it's just because I have to do it because I feel like I need to get a job and like do something with my life. But nah, I actually like was able to get a internship with the Pulitzer Center at that time. It was with their education team. It was something very different from what I know. It wasn't music, but I was doing something. So
and
it
sometimes,
was,
you just need to be active. Like it's not about being like in the actual space that you feel like you're supposed to be in. But it's just about keeping the mind agile.
Exactly. And I was like bored out of my mind at home being, no, but locked down. Locked down.
Don't go out. Come home. What time are you going out? What time are you coming?
You're not even going out. You're going to the pocket. You're coming back.
Oh, no.
That's what the experience was.
True.
It was just not like, so it was a good thing because it also made me realize how important a team, like a healthy like work environment is, because the people I was working with were super, super nice. Like shout out to y'all. They were like I nearly cried when I was like leaving. I was like, you guys were so nice. Like it was such a good experience. I'm glad because it seemed like a detour, but like I grew a lot like in my confidence of like what I can do, because it was like a small team, so like they allowed me to do like stuff and just figure shit out and like just do things. So it was really a good experience, and then it got me. I was able to like go into the things I actually wanted to do, which was like Endeavor and more marketing and influencer marketing stuff. And I thought that was what I wanted to do. It was not what I wanted to do. It was in the realm, like, marketing, social media. Like I understood that world, but like influencer marketing was just not for me. But I know that God gave me that position. So
absolutely.
I had to stay there until I was like told so I can go somewhere else. So as I was, and I did this for like a year.
I know.
And girl,
that's the thing about lessons that people don't necessarily understand. It's like things are not 2 weeks. And I feel like the Bible doesn't really give us a good job, because there's no like, okay, and then, I mean, obviously in certain stories it's like, oh, they stayed for 40 years. But it's like most of the time it's like you don't know how long the suffering really endured. And it's like, yo, a year? 365 days.
When I tell you, like, I was in there for a good 6 months. I was like, I don't like this. I'm like, it was like for sure, like, I don't like this.
Exactly.
And then I was like praying every day. I was fasting. I was like telling God, like, this is not what I want. And there was moments he'll give me signs. I'm like, don't quit. Don't quit. And I'm like, God, this is not what I want to do. Please get me out and show me something. Like, like show me at least like I'm in the right place. I'm supposed to like get what I'm supposed to be, like do later on. And it's funny enough, like I actually, because Endeavor is like marketing. I was with their 160/90. And then like they also have their agency, which is WME. And I was like, trying to meet with people, connect with them, and like seeing if there's a space and a desk open. If anybody knows about the entertainment, music, agency space, getting a desk is like you got the golden grail. It's you're in.
You're within.
But it's so funny because I got an interview with and like being in the music agent space, and I got the job, but then I asked how much is the pay, and the pay was lower than what I was doing now. And so I had to sit with myself. I was like, do I really want to go back to do what I want, like in pay, or like do I rough it out? And I haven't moved from my place in DMV, right? So like I haven't gone to New York yet. It was in New York. So I'm like, can I survive on this paycheck?
Nope.
No. So the short answer was no. So I had to like, even though I got the job, I had to say no. So I had to continue another 6 months of being in a job that I did not like.
Wow.
So it was tough. And even with
like
that job,
mentally,
like mentally, like physically.
Especially because you knew that you had a position that you actually liked.
Yeah. And I was like, that could have been my way in. Like, when I tell you, when I got that job, I didn't know what the pay was at the time, but I got the job. I was like, P. Diddy was like, I could do anything.
I got my MTV out. Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! what's next? What's next? I gotta get it. I'm not gonna stay fucking down. I'm not gonna stay fucking lying down. I'm not. I can't do that, man. I can't do that. What's next? Give me something else. What can't you do? I can do it. I can do anything.
That was me. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
And then I realized what it was. I'm like, okay, I can't compromise that because
Oh.
I'm already not making enough.
Yeah.
So like making less of that is
It's
not,
like,
it's
bruh,
not, it's a no-go.
What are
So
we doing?
when I said no, I continued for another 6 months in my job. That was like grueling. I moved to New York. New York was fun. I moved in August, end of summer. I met you.
Litnick. Shout out to Litnick. But you know what? The people don't know that we actually met online before we met on Clubhouse. Shout out to Clubhouse. Actually, some of my favorite people I met through Clubhouse, which is insane to think about. That I like really met people on the internet and like wasn't afraid. It's very, very interesting. Yeah, they're not scammers. They're really just like me. And I feel like we would have met somehow.
Yeah, we have a lot of connections.
Yeah, true.
It's
Even with the other people that I'm, shout out to Kalanzi, like there's the other people that I met
even Cecilia. Like,
oh yeah,
we say Clubhouse was really Cecilia, and then we connected further on Clubhouse.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Actually, yeah, you're right. I had mixed it up. I thought it was Clubhouse first, and then it was Cecilia. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Wow. Yeah.
So, and then I guess I'm gonna say how I ended up here.
Yeah.
I was at that job, and when the year came, I was like, I'm not staying in this job no more.
You're like, I'm done, master. So I'm done.
Literally. So I did another like season of like praying and fasting. I was like, and I was talking to the
praying
people.
And fasting.
Yo, if I didn't have
ending.
those things, I don't know where I would be.
It's never ending.
Never ending. And so that during that season, there was a job that somebody like showed me, like on the low, they were in the same company as me, but they're like, see this company over here. And it was the Wasserman job. And I was like, should I really apply to this? I've been working so hard for like a year to stay in this company, and now I've got to move and start all over again in another company and make connections and stuff.
Yeah.
And he was like, just apply. And literally, it was like my birthday time. That was like when the application, I had to do it.
Yeah.
And when I tell you the divine connection that was like, he had already had my boss already had somebody else that he was going to offer the position to, and he saw my application. He was like, wait a minute, hold on, don't send that offer out. I'm gonna do this interview first. And when we were talking, it's like an hour of just like us talking and just chilling, and,
like vibing.
And he was like, yeah, I just want you. I want you. I want you to be part of my team. And I'm like, okay, cool.
Shout out to that person who never got their offer.
I'm so sorry. God has a plan for you. It just wasn't this one.
I can't stand you. I've been looking for you.
Like, you're the one. Snatch my offer.
I know, right? Nah, it was never like that.
It wasn't. It just wasn't for you, bro. It was
for
me.
It wasn't.
I'm sorry. But yeah, and I've been there about like 7 months now.
Wow.
And I can honestly say I love my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, what a testimony.
Right?
What a testimony.
A quick scripture.
Yeah. No, I think that's so important because I feel like sometimes we always, like, yes, you did struggle and yes, you did, but it's like you really made it through and like you enjoy so much what you do now. And I think there's beauty in like understanding that, yeah, there are some trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, like you have to, you're going to enjoy it.
Gotta learn. And for sure, like the job I'm doing now, there's no way I would feel comfortable doing it if I didn't do the one I did for a year.
Look like at that.
He uses it all. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in every step, like everything was working for your good.
Yeah.
As much as we hate to admit that,
Yeah. And you just have to trust God, even though you're like, I want this.
I
know what's good for me. He's like, no, I know. I'm like, okay, I guess. And there's a constant that of like year on, year in. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, since we're getting within, but I want to give the people something that they didn't necessarily get to see in our other episode, which is I'm actually gonna give you the choice. Would you like to play a little bit? Even though I don't know how much you studied, so you might know too much of the Afrolit trivia. How much do you know?
I don't know nothing.
Oh, you don't know anything? Are you just saying that so you can win?
No, I didn't read any of it.
Oh, we'll see. If you get 2 points, I'm shutting it down.
Okay.
So we can play the Afrolit trivia.
Okay.
Or we can get into the I See It on social media.
I guess we gotta do Afrolit trivia. You already hyped it up. So.
But yeah, I guess this is the first time that guests will get to play the game with me, which will be sort of like our little transition, But all of the trivia is based on 3 categories. So it's food, it's music, and it's lifestyle, so like fashion, things like that. All from Africa, of course, because Afrolit, what we doing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask you the questions.
Okay.
And you have, well, in my mind, you're gonna have like 10 seconds to answer, but like 10 seconds can be anything. Like not anything, but it could be like not exactly 10 seconds.
Okay.
But like
I'm
I'm just gonna start from 5. So I'm gonna let 5 seconds pass in my mind, and then I'm just gonna start 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So,
pressure.
Are you ready?
No, but let's go.
Okay, so where did jollof originate from? 5, 4.
I want to.
3.
Senegal.
Yeah. Ding. Like I said, if you get 2 right, I'm gonna feel like you looked at the answer.
My roommate is Senegalese, okay?
I know that, but I just feel like this note was way too open. You were able to scroll.
Hit me with another one.
Okay. In what year?
Oh gosh.
Did Wizkid release Don Do, the song?
Sitting on a don. 2013. Is
that your final answer?
2011. Wait, it's okay.
Is that your final answer?
It's in that period. Okay, wait. 2011 is my final answer.
2011 is your final answer?
Yes.
You're sure?
Yes.
You are willing.
Stop it! Yes, it is.
I knew you looked at the answers. Yes. You looked at the answers. I know you looked at the answers.
I was just thinking about the albums because Burna Boy was 2013. That was the first album. Wizkid was before him. So, also that's a music
don't let
answer.
you rock. You know what? Yeah,
No
I know.
more.
And you do love music. That's the one thing.
You know, I pick harder questions.
I know,
for
yeah.
me.
Let me pick a harder question. Okay. Where is the architect of the African American Museum based in Washington, D.C. from? Like, where is the architect from?
Nah, you got me. I don't know. Where is he from? Is he African?
I guess so.
Is he like, okay, what's coming to mind is like Ethiopian?
4.
Ethiopian.
3.
Maybe?
2.
Ethiopian.
1.
That's a terrible, no bass whatsoever on that.
Oh, man. Clearly you don't read. No, I'm kidding.
That's not right.
That is incorrect.
Okay.
He is actually originally from Ghana, but by the UK. He's from the UK.
That makes sense.
Yes.
It should have been,
Yes.
It should have been Nigerian Ghana.
I can't remember his full last name, but his name is David. I believe it starts with an A. It's like a DJ, something like that.
Do your research.
Listen, I did what I needed to do. Okay. And
wasn't
that's
the
all
answer.
that matters.
His name wasn't at that.
Yeah, his name was not the answer. It was where he was from.
Gotcha. Now I know.
That's the answer. That's the answer.
Shout out to the 233.
Shout out.
234.
No, I don't know. So whatever you say, we'll go with it. It must be an area code of some country.
Yeah.
So we'll trust. We'll trust that we're repping the continent. No, but I think, of course, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. That was
Listen
my
to
first
right?
time.
Look at you getting
Pressure.
Afrolit trip. The pressure. We've applied pressure. It's beautiful that you're able to do so many. I mean, even hearing and listening to your journey, there's things I didn't even know. And
Look at us growing in our relationship.
look at us growing. Oh my gosh! Welcome to the couch. This couch has gems, man. But no, I think that as Afrolit's producer, but even more so being able to having worked on your own and now being at Wasserman, and even just as you progress in other like areas, you're able to just learn more about yourself. And so I want us to let's get deeper. This is the season of being vulnerable, getting uncomfortable, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. And so I wanted to know about just more of the moments that, because I know you said that you worked at the Pulsar Center and even worked at the Youth Streams, like interning at the Youth Streams, and like just
Youth
figuring
Street
out
Music Hall.
Oh, Youth Stream Music Hall. Sorry. But I just, I want to understand more of just like how you were able to have those come to Jesus moments and just be like, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. But just knowing like you were going to, like, did you really know you were going to be okay in those moments?
No.
Or you were, wow.
No, I did
So
not.
how did you deal with that anxiety?
It wasn't, I feel, okay, so I didn't, I think it was really real. I'm just like trying to like think about what was the moment. Because I already had
the
like
moments, right?
moments.
It's
So
not
I
just
did
one.
have like a coming to Jesus moment of like surrendering.
Yeah.
Before I even graduated. And so when things were like going down south of like my parents aren't gonna come to the graduation because of this corona thing that's gonna come up. And so when that first conversation happened, like I felt a moment of like it's gonna be fine. Like I wasn't panicking, which is kind of like not normal. Like I wasn't used to that feeling because usually I would be like, I need to know my next step. Like what's gonna happen? And then I think it's also because of the fact that I was isolated and I didn't have my friends around. I'd already had a moment of like deep like bad mental health issues, and so like going through that and then like having this moment like it's sort of like a deja vu moment of like I'm going to that space again, like what's gonna happen. And so like it was a moment of like I have to like now I have a foundation, which is God. So I had to like really talk to him like, bro, what's gonna happen? It's getting real. And I need like an out plan. Like once like, lockdown is over, what's gonna happen? Like I need to understand. Like I needed to know because I didn't know. And I like the only thing that I could do at that time was just research and like learn like what the business and what I could do in the business and like what applied to me.
Interesting.
So that was a moment that like that season was when I was doing all that research and like
seeing what behind the scenes is
and like
music?
Exactly, in music and like and that's when I learned about the agency. Like I didn't know what an agent was. I didn't know like you could do like there's people booking. I didn't know that was a job. Like you could book tours. Like, and people need like agents to talk about like film and like books and like all that type of stuff. So and you can do that for marketing. I didn't know that. So like that's the moment I learned about all those things. And then once I got to New York, it was just about like meeting a lot of people and like talking to people and like just understanding the New York scene and like and all that type of stuff and just being more open. Like I had to like become more open of like what is out there. And I like working with Pulitzer, that was my introduction of like you can have detours. It's fine if you have detours because you'll learn more about yourself and you'll learn more about like the industry that you want to be in. And then it's okay. Like he's going to use everything. So like you're not going to waste time. That's my biggest thing. Time is money.
Time? You see how I think about time? Amanda's like the complete opposite of how I think about it. So like the way that I'm like, it's fine. Like, what is the time? She gonna be there at that time, and she gonna organize the time, and it's like she already anticipated for the time that I was not gonna be there. So it's like I'm doing the thing that you were supposed to do, and it's like time. You are very on, literally and figuratively on time. Like
so, it's just it made me realize like it's okay. Like time is an illusion, as like you've talked about. So like,
don't say that too loud though.
Like we can't, keep it, but like you have to keep it in mind. And just like
it's true.
It's all gonna work out. It's all gonna work out. So don't stress about it. I try not to stress about it. And just let things come to me and like, you know, opportunities come to me and
Yes.
just be okay with that and
Yeah.
like, you know, be fine.
And
Just,
like,
it's just really the big part is just not stressing.
I can imagine. But I would love to learn more of like how you're able to just stay so, well, of course I know that it's being rooted in God and the way that you're able to stay so positive, but I would love to learn more about your support system and like the people that you've kept around you that have been able to inspire all like
Yeah.
this, you know, because
Yeah.
I know that you didn't do this. I mean, listen, I know we cannot do anything alone because you
Yeah.
will burn out and crash.
Very fast.
But I feel like even in this journey, in this process, like I'm sure you've been able to feel safe because of your support system and feel
sure.
that you can pursue and like do all these different things because you had that space. And being the eldest daughter
Hey,
of the group,
the family manager. That's what they call me.
literally, you're the family manager. Oh,
That's what
no,
I was like, I've
damn.
been trying to quit from this position for so long.
And now they placed
Placed
it on your
like,
head.
Why have to put a name on it now? Like, ugh. But
Damn.
yeah, I
Like,
mean,
there's
I
no
love my
way
family. I
out.
do anything for them. But like the support system, I wouldn't be here without them because they are the one that constantly remind me of who I am.
So how many
that's-
siblings do you have, and how many? I mean, I know, but like, you just
Tell
tell
the
them because they
people.
don't know.
I actually have 4. I have an older brother, and I have 3 younger ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm the only girl. Maybe like that kind of explains like I'm sweet, but like don't mess with me, you know.
She can fight.
I can fight.
She can fight. I love it.
I mean, and also my parents, like shout out to my mom.
I know.
Shout out to my dad. Like
Shout
my
out.
parents,
Shout out.
they like instilled confidence in me from a very young age. Like they allowed me to do so many things. Like at 14, I convinced them to take me to New York by myself to go to FIT so I can like learn how to be a fashion designer.
I
And
know,
I'm like,
right? How did you do that?
I don't know. I really don't. Like, I don't. I
You don't remember the logistics,
I don't remember the
right?
logistics, but like the fact that I'm American citizen, so I was like,
Yeah.
is that a new place for me? I can be there.
That's true.
And like they were very like trusting of me and my brother, like from a very young age. Like, they allowed us to go
Yeah.
out like at a young age. You know,
I mean,
Tanzania.
also in Africa,
Things,
there's no way that they were going to
rules,
keep you in anyways. So
wishy-washy.
it was like, if you look 18, you're going in. You know what I
so
mean?
I feel like I was just also mature from age, and they trusted that, and so like she's not gonna do anything crazy. Like, and I
Right.
wasn't. I wanted to go to school. I wanted to learn. I wanted, you know.
Yeah.
So they just gave me that, and also they. Especially this year, I've like realized like how much of a community I have, and people are rooting for me.
Yes.
It's like when I forget, like when I'm in these spaces and I'm like talking about what I think
Yeah.
and like my opinion, and like people listen to me, I'm like,
It's
y'all
like,
listen?
why?
why are y'all listening to me? Like, y'all really like what?
Yeah.
But it's a blessing because they remind me like, you're gonna do that, and I'm like, really? You think I can? Like in my job right now, like I'm helping them. I basically like build the African roster, and I'm like, I've been like 6 months in, y'all letting me just help out doing this. So it's
Listen.
just all a blessing, and just and you need a support system to like just remind you of like who you are, and you know when you've lost a plot, they'll
Like,
direct you,
stir
like
you back.
stir me back in, and like this is who you are. You are that person, and you're able to do these things, and just like keep going, like, and we're here for you, and we're all behind you, supporting you. Hey,
Rooting for you.
yeah,
Oh, that's so valid. And I think, like you said, it's so important to like recognize that you have that, but then also take stock in that like everyone, like, you know, Patricia even said this, like everyone's a
Yeah.
mirror, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
it's like
Oh my gosh, yes.
understanding that like you have that, like you're able to reflect that because you receive that from so many others,
For
you
sure, for
know?
sure.
And like it's a beautiful thing, you know? It's such a
sure.
beautiful thing.
And I'm blessed, like, in every city I've been to, like, so far, I've always had, like, women, like, a sisterhood.
Really?
Yeah, so, like, even when I was in Tanzania, like, I had, like, 3 or 4 friends of mine, like, we're all girls, and we're just, like,
Yeah.
supporting each other. DC, I had that, the sugar babies.
Oh my God! Now
Shout out
y'all
to
having a name.
Really? That was like my support. Like without them, I would not be here as well. And then
Yeah.
now when I'm in New York, you and Nana, like you guys are like really like you hold it
Yeah.
down. So like, yeah, just like God like brings like other family members in my life to help me.
What would you say to people or like, you know, other girls, people like you who are, you know, in that season of being unsure of what they were doing or what they're trying to do, and like maybe having, because I'm sure you always had that instance where you said you loved music, you were always gravitating towards music and you can sing, but you knew that wasn't really it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, can I really, you know, and it's like, can I really step into this? Like, I guess what would you say to someone who, like, now looking back and now being in this position that you're in, like, what would you tell yourself in this, you know, pre-graduation, you know, 2020 version of Amanda?
I just you're able to do more than one thing. I think that was like one of the struggles I was having in the beginning. I was like, it was like kind of like paralysis of like, if I choose this, then I'm gonna go this way. Like there's only this one path I have to go. So like it was like I have to like really choose, be very like mindful of like what the starting point, right? Because I feel like I had only this one path that I can go to, and then I can
And there's walls around it.
and you can't go anywhere else. But then like I was learning very quickly that like your path is gonna be like A B Z D T A B A B Z D A, like it's, and go back to A and then B, and like it's really, you don't know what's going to happen next, and like, but it's still gonna all come together. Like it's like a puzzle. Like it's that's what I like. It's like a puzzle.
The analogy.
So you're gonna get pieces over time, and then later on you'll see like it's
force it. You ever tried to force a puzzle piece,
girl,
yo?
you hurt yourself.
I know, actually.
You hurt yourself. So like just learning that you're gonna get puzzle pieces, and you're gonna explore that puzzle piece and like really look at it and like really like, oh, what's that? Oh, and just learn from that area, like that moment in time.
Yeah.
And it's all gonna come together, and it's gonna happen. Like wherever you want to go, you want to be successful. That's the goal anyway.
Yeah.
So like, but how that's gonna look like, you're gonna figure out over time. And just like accepting that and being okay with like, okay, this puzzle piece is for this year and that puzzle piece is for the next year. And,
right?
Like year by year.
Emphasis on year.
Because people think I'm going to be successful tomorrow.
Exactly.
No,
like you said, like you had to wait, like you got an opportunity, but then you still had to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I feel like people don't really understand the gravity and the weight of that, you know? Because that can devastate people.
Like,
you know? Because it's like, I have to
it.
now, right? Like I tasted the freedom. And now I've got
and
it.
then even now that I like looking back at it, I would have hated that job. If I said yes to that job, it would have not been a conducive environment for me.
First of all, yes, you may be doing what you love, but it's like if it doesn't,
if you're not in this healthy environment to do those things, because like the environment I have now in my like current job, like they're really rooting for me, like y'all really like care, and I don't know, I'm not sure if I would have gotten that same environment in the old job. So yeah, it's a job. It's all about timing, because it's the same job basically, but like it would have, the timing would have been wrong.
Wow. Yeah. No, that's, again, I feel like there's so much power in really rooting and betting on yourself, because I feel like in every moment you've showed up as your full self, you know? Yeah. I mean, did you ever feel like, because I mean, I can understand, I feel like it's such a different, like, I guess perspective, in that like you were born here but then being raised back home and then now coming back to America. Like did that ever, like when you, because I know you didn't really delve into that, but like how did you navigate that? And even now being like at the forefront of like, oh, building the African roster, like did you always fully embrace that when you came back, or do you want to be like these Mzungu girls and just like, hi, back?
That's so funny. I mean, it's very interesting because like when I was back home, you're not really like, you're not facing the fact that you're Tanzanian, you're African, right? Because you're like, I'm in it, right? You're in it, so you're like, there's no proving, there's no like,
right? I feel like there's more like class differentiations in Africa than there are class. like we don't, because race, everyone's black. Yeah, you know what I mean?
So and like I know like, oh, I was in international school, so I'm like, okay, they're from Europe. Like, everybody knows German, what they are, right? So there's no like that much talk about race, is more about class. Right. So when I came back to DC for college, that's when I was like, damn, I miss home. And that's when I started to listen to more African music. I listened to like I'm making more African food, like Tanzanian food and Swahili food. So like that's when I really like delved into my own culture, because I was like, I'm sticking out like a sore thumb. Like I'm not. There's nobody like me out here. So I needed like go back to remember like home and like, you know, just like soothe that like
missing link.
That missing link. So like that's when I really delved into it and then be like, wait, this is the thing that's gonna make me special. Like nobody knows Tanzania like I do out here. Nobody knows about Africa right now like I do. So like I've used that as a superpower in every space that I go to. And I couldn't do that so much in like my other job, but like this job, girl, nobody knows. Nobody knows. So like that's a value. That's something that's very valuable.
Especially right now.
People are still sleeping.
People are still sleeping.
So.
I mean, the fact that we still need, well, we don't need, but like, you know, some communities need Justin Bieber to be on songs in order to know.
To amplify it.
You know? And it's like.
I mean, that's all strategic. It's needed, but like. It's.
And how do you feel about that? Like being in that space too?
It's just every genre has it. Like hip hop had it.
Yeah.
Like it's always gonna be needed in order to like amplify it and like so it could permeate to other cultures and other like spaces. Yeah. And I feel like it's gonna work in our favor as long as we
gatekeep.
No, I'm kidding. I know you love gatekeeping, but like there has to be like
don't show myself.
Like there has to be thought and like there has to be strategy behind it. We can't just let anybody in, you know. We just can't let any partnership
There's a bouncer
happen.
At the door.
There has to be a bouncer
and
at the
scary.
door.
Like he's mad
and, like,
scary.
And just like we have to like also be the people to educate. I'm the educator in my business, like, and you have to be humble and be like, how can these people not know these things right now? Like, and so just be okay. Like, you're going to be the educator, and that's a better thing because then at least they get it from a source that's reputable. Like that, they're not just googling it Wikipedia like Afrobeat. And it's Afrobeats.
And it's like P Square.
It's P Square. And like,
even though, you know, but it's like, there's like,
you know, like,
there's Alte, there's a whole thing that's happening.
Letting them know, like, guys, you're hearing about this little thing, but just know that there's a bigger world out there. Like, it's just like a tip of the iceberg.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Wow. No, I'm excited. I guess, the moment that you just like I feel like you've applied gas on this, I feel like it was always inside of you, but now you've just like you're applying the pressure. And so honestly, I would love to know, like, what is now, like what are you looking forward to in this moment now as you step forward and even just working with me. You see, that's why I love getting the right people, because you see all these things she's about to do, then she's gonna bring them over here and it's gonna be like, wow, how did you get that person? And it's connecting the dope.
It's just, I feel like this year I've like, it's even about like,
I know, because you're going back.
I'm going
home
back
soon.
Oh my God, I'm so ready.
I know, this girl
it's 50
is leaving
degrees
me
outside and I'm like, I'm leaving
me in the freezing. By the time you're listening to this, it's snowing in New York. And
literally, and I'm like,
she's on the beach. You're going to see her photos. We're going to use that as a promo pic. Like me freezing in snow and her being on the beach in Zanzibar.
I'm so sorry, y'all.
Wow. She's not even.
I'm not. I know. Because the moment gets cold, like the seasonal depression hits, and I'm like, God, guys, you don't want me in that.
Yeah. You're a child of this side. The rest of us should go. We should take that ticket from you. Do you know Pakurbo? Do you know the lyrics?
Yes, I
do. Sing Diamond's latest hit right now.
What's up? But yeah, now I think it's just me. I'm about to turn 25 as well, and just like learning to like let go of even more control. And because the more control I like let go of, the more I realize like there's so much I can do, and I can do it all. What? Like I don't have to be like one thing. So just like having more fun with my life, and just like this year I didn't know I was a producer, but God did. God did. God did.
They didn't believe in us. God did.
And he's like, just say yes to what I give you. Just say yes to what I give you, and you'll learn and you'll have fun,
Yeah.
and like it's all gonna be for your good. So just being like open to anything and everything, and just talking to mad people. Like I'm a shy person. You might not
I know,
realize
which is
it.
crazy.
I
Like,
know,
what?
but like I'm friendly introvert.
Right.
So like
And an extroverted introvert. That's the word, right?
nah, I mean I
Introverted
call
extrovert?
myself a friendly introvert.
Oh, a friendly
So
introvert.
like I
Okay.
can talk to you, I'll be kind, but like you have to kind of approach me first. Like
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
like people's energy drains me, so like I have to like
Oh,
always
okay.
recharge later on. But like
Yeah.
this is the time that I had to like meet a lot of people and like learn about what they're doing, and like you never know where your next opportunity comes from.
That's
So
a word.
yeah, so you just have to be
Word.
open and like be malleable and just let things happen, and just keep asking questions, and like just be like I'm working on a cartoon series.
I know,
I
right?
never thought I would do that. Like I love cartoons, I love The Simpsons, but like I just never thought I would be a part of that. But because I just said yes, and I just continue asking questions, and like I was on those phone calls that I don't like talking to people,
I
but like
know.
I was on those phone calls and just like seeing where it goes, and like they asked me
Yeah.
to be, and I was like, okay, cool, and I'm actually having fun. So like
Wow.
just yeah, you never know what you're gonna be able to like do if you don't say yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Wow.
What a word.
What a word. Thank you so much. I would give you a hug, but again, can't hit the
Yeah.
expensive mic. That if you subscribe on Patreon, you can help us continue to afford.
Yeah.
So yes, no, but thank you so much, Amanda. This
having me.
is such a beautiful journey. B, I'm excited to have you within my own journey, and keep you to myself. You're never gonna see her again. No, I'm kidding.
We're gonna win awards.
But I think like just when visions align and like they
sure.
intersect, like you can see how like this crossroads was so necessary for both of us.
Yeah.
And
For
like
real.
how we were able to grow for the both of us. And I think that that's the beauty about life, right?
Yeah.
Like if you didn't keep going, if you didn't keep pursuing, or even have those moments to reflect and stop and think, you wouldn't have even been in a position to, meet me, meet
Honestly.
anyone. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So look at that. Look
Cool.
at us.
Look at us.
Look at us.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? But yes, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe on all platforms where you can find Afrolit. See us on Instagram, on TikTok. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube. Wow, I can't say subscribe. Subscribe. Wow. But yes, no. And on to the next one. See you in the next video or episode. Bye. Become an Afrolit crew member. Okay, so that was my little intro. But so you see this new place and you also hear the crisp sound. But guess what? This takes some bread, some agege bread, some dollar bills, honestly. And I truly need your support with this. So become an Afrolit crew member. You can join us by joining Afrolit's Patreon page and hitting the comments there, joining at different tiers. It is to your choice, but it would make a huge difference. It will support the starving artist team. No, I'm kidding. But we're not starving, but it will definitely help us create more content, special content. You can get early content. We're trying to stay up in this game. So what you're going to do is you're going to go right now, click that button so that you can join us. Thank you in advance. And yes, see you soon on the other Patreon side.
Okay. You had a little. It was cute.